Yes, we have some questions here. Ray from Florida, from Yasha Kali, is asking about this hating of evil. What is that hatred to evil that later becomes a correction?
What is this hatred for the evil that goes through correction? It's hatred towards my ego, that I receive everything and I feel and understand only through my limited perception what is to my benefit and what is not to my benefit. I have no objective perception outside of myself. I can't feel what the others feel. I have no relations outside of myself or dependent on myself. Everything is closed in my little box. It's like a small baby. You see on him what's good and what's not. Only that he feels. We see it on him because it's a very small animal, has very primitive instincts. On young children, we see it. They're not pretending anything. We see it very simply. This is our nature. And unfortunately, we're not aware of it. After all these developments in the world, we're starting to be more and more aware that our perception is dependent, limited, and personal. That depends on our qualities. In general, if we talk to people on the street, they're unaware that the world is not as we see it, that the world has some kind of different form. What form, I don't know, but maybe it doesn't even have a form. But what I do perceive is through my qualities and what my senses draw up and picture. Maybe there is endless phenomenons and effects. Let's say a wall. I can't pass through this wall. To my senses, it's a limitation, some kind of border. And some things I can pass or they pass through me and I don't recognize them. Meaning this form, this shape is very selective. Well, it's through our limitations that we see it, through our senses. And other than that, aside from that, we have no perception more than that. Wisdom of Kabbalah, why is it called the wisdom of Kabbalah, receiving? It says, I will open a feeling of reality which is free, meaning absolute. What is there outside of you and what is truly present. And as to the extent that you develop your senses and perception, you will attain this reality. Please, everything is in your hands. But the senses and feelings are in your hands, and here's what you should do. Then they tell us the first exercise is through a group and the environment to make an effort to exit himself. That is why we determine for us some actions that we need to do in dissemination, in the group, and in our perception. But all of that is to change our perception towards feeling this new and true reality where we are. Imagine, like animals. Some animals almost have no vision or sight. And instead of hearing, they have other developed senses, like dogs have their sense of smell. like warmth and cold to a snake. They have their own world. A dog sees everything through the forms of smells, sense. He doesn't see me or this table, my cup of tea. He sees through sense of smell, how everything extracts, emits some smell. Also, we perceive everything through our five senses. The problem is I don't feel some deficiency in this. If I don't have this point in the heart that awakens, I don't feel at all this, that I'm missing some perception, that there is something else. Then I'm like an animal. And this is how most of reality are. Until we develop more and more this point from that world, from this new vessel that we will have of feeling the upper world. It awakens and gives us the opportunity to develop it, this point, to turn it to a great vessel, a sense which is very sensitive, which is unlimited, that I can already attain this upper reality, true reality. But to reveal it, we need to work hard. Working hard in the group and dissemination, everything that Kabbalists recommend to us. That is why here we are before a very special degree and level in our days. So, inner awakening from this world, from that world, this awakening in us is more and more felt in points of the heart in many people. And also our reality, it is becoming very problematic, our world. Why is that? Because this upper world, spiritual world, this high and massive world, is starting to get closer to us, starting to shine on us, like two spheres, that we are in the inner sphere, which is limited, and the second world, the upper world, is a wider range of world, and then it starts to shine upon our sphere and world. Then we start to feel in our world something is not quite right. We're starting to feel that we are interconnected between each other. We start to feel that we don't manage our senses and we can't control our rules in this new state. There's some kind of
sort of a new obstruction that is coming and is constantly confusing us, doesn't let us live the way that we want to live. We want to live according to our qualities, to love ourselves, and that's it. And instead we see that, no, it's not working. There is a new paradigm, that is, there are new conditions in our world where with our previous qualities, with our senses that are limited, we are unable to get along. In our world, there are several forces, several conditions, such that I don't know what to do with them. The world is suddenly becoming round, interconnected in every way through all of its parts. And I am unable to see it in such a way. I'm unable to think about it in such a way. My entire perception is, if I'm a politician, I constantly think about my own benefit at the political level, or either about the state or several states or countries together. I'm constantly thinking egoistically. Now, this other world is coming closer, shining on us more and more, and then we begin to feel that it's not working anymore under these new conditions. Our attitude, our approach is not working. But what to do, how to plan things, how to relate it correctly according to the new conditions that nature is presenting to us, we don't know. Therefore, we're entering a state which is called crisis, the global crisis. In everything that we're engaging in, we are in a crisis. And here, therefore, we see that reality is pushing us forward to the determination point, the decision point. We will have to determine that we have no choice. Rather, we have to come to know that new reality that is shining on us, that is confusing us with our old perception, that there are new demands on behalf of nature towards us, that we are under new laws, laws that obligate us to be connected, towards mutual bestowal instead of personal reception. This is how we are shifting to a new stage in our history, in our entire evolution, where we will have to exchange our personal, individual perception with a new perception, which is outside of our body. For that, the wisdom of Kabbalah is destined to help us in that. And also those who study the wisdom of Kabbalah now have, from this new reality that is about to be revealed, that is coming closer to us and pressuring us, to us as well, those who study the wisdom of Kabbalah, there is a demand. We have to take upon ourselves certain duties, responsibilities, commitments, in order to help the whole world, which is all entering crisis. We have no choice. We have to push the world forward to the right perception of where these forces that are now operating in our world from the upper world, where they are pulling us to. That's it.